Just wanted to make a quick video of replacing the door on this Jeep here. A couple little details in what I did in doing this job. So the first thing is we got to change our key lock cylinder here so that our key is going to work for that, so we can open and close this door. And this one here, we've got 2 screws, and those 2 screws are like a T25, and you pull those 2 screws out, and this is a plastic keeper that keeps that cylinder inside the door. Now on all the other doors that I had, this is how it goes in. This will go into the door, and then this is your keeper here on the back side of the body metal. But in this one here, there's a big black plastic keeper that goes in there. You're going to want to remove this runner for the window. And there's 2 screws right here that you would take off, and then as you move up, it's probably about here in the door somewhere where it engages, and all you got to do is push it down. Once those screws are out, take that out of there. And now you got some working space in there to remove this black keeper. Now the other 2 things to disconnect, one will be the key lock cylinder indicator, and so I removed the whole thing. This plugs into the cylinder, and then the other end plugs into here. Hard to see, but basically the plug is right there. I just removed that wiring entirely. We're not using that because that's part of the theft security system, which in my case I want to disarm that so it doesn't become an inconvenience. Once you've changed your key lock cylinder, then you put the new one in, you push your keeper back in, you put two bolts on the end, and if I haven't mentioned it, there's also a linkage that goes on the end. On the end, this is where the key lock cylinder indicator fastens on there, and this is the linkage. Once you've disconnected these 2 pieces and you've disconnected your keeper, then you can change this out, put it back in. You've got a few locations to hold your panel on, one being up there by the mirror. We've got one over here. We have one by the door handle, and we have another one right there. Whoever had this before, they had stripped that out and basically drilled another hole into the panel to hold that on. I tried to come up with kind of like a quick repair for this, something that's going to make it a little better. And what I decided to do was I just simply took a washer, and then I put a nut in there, held that together, welded that around. Here was the finished result. So then I trued it up. So we have a nice flat surface on this side, and we have a true surface on the back side. I then drilled the hole out for this back piece, which ended up being about 1/2 inch. So just use a step drill for that if you've got the space to allow it, or you get up to that size, and then the final drill bit being 1/2 inch to get that hole the right size. Then I just simply push this in there, and then I tack it on either end. And now what we have is, this is a quarter inch nut, threaded nut that we're going to use. So I put one here. I did the same thing here, and then I put cardboard and tape in here to protect the glass so we don't get any welding splatter and wreck the glass. So we've got this location, this location. This one here I just tapped out to 1/4 inch threads. Yeah, this is our last location here. Now in this case, ordinarily you're going to use one of these body clips and go put that in there, and then that's what the screw fastens into. What I did was I just found this laying around the shop from another project, and then I put this in there. So this is going to be my new fastener here. So now, instead of using screws, I'm just going to use these Allen head fasteners to fit in. So the reason I'm using the Allen head is because it needs to be small enough to fit into the recess of the hole, and then also to screw into here. And there will be a little wiggle room too. So I've fitted everything up, and now the last thing we need to do is put the panel on. Before putting that panel on, we've got a few plugs to connect here. This one here will be for the mirror. This one here will be for the power door locks. If you have it, this one here will be for the light that goes into here. Here we got that panel installed, and we're just using those Allen head fasteners. We've got one up there, one behind there, and then we'll put that cover on, and then there's one in there. These 2 covers here, I'll have to try and find where they are, but there's 2 covers for that, but this one remains exposed. Another thing that I like to do when I'm working on these panels and the interior on these Jeeps is this fabric here gets all frazzled and frayed, and maybe you can see that it actually is pretty noticeable, pretty frazzled, frayed, and I don't know, it's kind of annoying for me. So what I do is I just get a heat gun, and I'm just going to hold the heat gun distance away, and I'm just going to slowly kind of go over it like that, and that'll get rid of all them frayed edges and everything on the fabric there. Here's the final result after we kind of cleaned up the panel here, and we found our cap for there. We still haven't found our 2 other caps, no big deal. And then we used that heat gun just to singe off all them loose hairs and stuff on the fabric there. So that's the completion, and hopefully upgrading these fasteners here will hold that on there a little better, and it'll last longer without cracking and damaging, especially in the winter. It gets cold, and I find that's when these panels tend to fail, is in the cold winter. The panels will the crack, or these fasteners will strip out, and then they're not holding it very well. So then all you're left with is the plastic clips that go along the perimeter of the panel, and then it just rips off and breaks, and